Hey yo, is that a new unbox 2005 Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller by Nubytech? That's cool. I'm gonna need that controller.
What's up guys, it's Zenith, and that's something we haven't said in a very long time. But we're back, and it's time to do a video that I've wanted to do for so long. This was originally supposed to be a 10,000 subscriber special, a Halloween special. There are a lot of scrap video projects and concepts, but it's been so long it's time to just do it. Obviously a lot has changed, but one thing that has remained close to me, and I do mean literally, because every single setup I've had throughout the years has always had this right next to me. This Resident Evil 4 controller has literally been sitting like 5 feet next to me for like the last 3 years. I bought this new unbox in like 2018. At least I assume new unbox. It kind of came like this. I didn't really care, not trying to resell it. I just want it to work. I bought it for like 300 and I know for a fact it's a lot more now. This sucker's like 500 bucks. I am so glad I bought this years ago. I mean, this has essentially been my holy grail for a long time. You know me, I love obscure little controllers like this. And I think it's just the ultimate joke controller. I mean, you're playing on a chainsaw. Anyway, I'm so excited to be able to unbox this for you, show you how competitively viable it is in Smash Brothers, and take you along for the ride. And I hope that you're excited too. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, we're at the unboxing station. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Like I said, this thing has been next to me for years. I paid a lot for it. We're doing this all in one take. We have our front camera and we have a top down, hello. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Keep in mind, I didn't touch anything about this box. This was the way that it'll ship to me. My unboxing tool for any Valorant fans out there. This thing is literally 3D printed, so I don't know if they'll cut it. You know, I really don't want to damage this box. There's a little dotted line to cut, but it's so brittle from all the years that it's existed. It kind of just comes right off. The thing is just so old. I mean, this came out in what, like 2005? The glue that kept these plastic windows on is all brittled and gone, so you can kind of slide it out like that. Real quick, inspecting the outsides. A custom designed limited edition chainsaw. Every chainsaw is different, so a cool thing about these is that they're actually numbered. I believe that there are only 50,000 of them made, which explains kind of just how hard they are to get. Now let's open the lid. Okay, never mind. So I guess that doesn't open up like that? Is that the intention? Oh, these were supposed to be glued together. It's that old. Okay, anyway. So here we open it. Oh my God, do you hear that? I'm afraid that this whole thing's gonna come apart. I'm just gonna hold it like this, but you see over here, we have our controller, and those are not special edition Nerf darts that come along with it. Whoever was a previous owner, maybe their kids just stored them in here. Like I said, the windows are very movable. Just a neat little thing. I wanted to keep it the original way that I got it. All right, opening up the plastic. Oh my God, you can see it like yellowed over time. As far as I know, this is the first press of this controller. My God, everything is so brittle. I mean, the box is kind of falling apart. Whoa. All right, the controller itself is pretty light. Now I know that there's content already on YouTube of people unboxing it. I try not to watch too much. Of course, I know some of the basic history of the controller, but I really just wanted to keep impressions natural. All right, here we have the base. You get your little controller guide here. Very cool. Base is pretty sick. It's got these rocks, it's got splatter on it. Apparently the splatter is also unique. I just sprinkled a little on there. Now first things first, I've wanted to shoot these Nerf darts since I got this box. So in honor of the inaugural celebration, my God, that released so much dust in there. They work pretty well. I think that's a good sign so far. Whoa, man, the manual is also pretty crusty, if I'm not gonna lie. And I mean the glue. You can hear it. Get a little backstory. Controller, of course, made by Nubytech. The controller sits on the base, presumably like this. Man, that is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this little slot right here is for a memory card. And I've been putting it off for too long. Let's hold the controller, see the ergonomics of a chainsaw. All right, despite being light, it's sturdy enough. You can definitely see some manufacturing imperfections. unless that's a literal spider web. You know, this thing could just be really dirty. So a while back, I made a video on how to play claw on a GameCube controller. I'm gonna try my best to see how well I can recreate that on here. But wow, this is unique. The thumbstick's positioned in a really odd way where I guess left and right makes sense, but when you're holding it like this, to go right, I assume you have to put the control stick in like a southeast direction. Wave dashing would probably look something like this. Just going over the general button layout, your front panel is what you're used to. You have a D-pad, start, and your 2 analog sticks. I can't get over that. This is weird. I think that'll take some getting used to, but we'll see. Now what's interesting is the handle is actually what has the R button. The L button is on this handle. But what's really unique is the fact that the Z button is right here. And it's pretty hard to press. I don't know if the intention is to use your thumb. You could also maybe use your index finger, but man, this is gonna be an experience to use. Got a little thumbprint right here, that's pretty cool. Also, apparently, I know this exists in the PlayStation version. It's supposed to have sound, I don't think the GameCube controller does. But the bottom has these little grill marks that presumably is where the speaker would have gone. Again, this thing is really light. The base, of course, has what I believe to be the unique splatter pattern. You got your little grooves of the controller, you have your memory card slot. And on the bottom here, see, Nubytech was ahead of their time. They went ahead and incorporated a removable cable. This is just so cool. So of course, one end of it goes right here. This is so cool. All right, let's play some Smash Bros. But of course, none of this matters if the controller itself doesn't work. So we got our trusty CRT here, just a basic GameCube setup. And yeah, let's plug this thing in like it was intended, see how it works. I just find it so funny that it plugs into the bottom of the controller. I also bought this such a long time ago, anything can happen. But let's see. It works. Man, wave dashing is gonna take some getting used to on this. But I mean, overall, everything seems to work. So let's go to a proper setup, try to get used to this thing, and get into some matches. So we're back at the netplay setup. I've taken some time to warm up, but nothing can truly get you used to a control scheme like this other than just playing the game. But just before we dive in, I want to go over just a couple of the quirks that I think are going to be immediately apparent while using this controller. Number 1, you see these little arrows on this analog stick? You'll notice that if you're holding the controller with the Resident Evil logo facing you, these arrows aren't aligned. Then you look at the C stick. Also not aligned. So maybe you're supposed to hold the controller like this. Yeah, it would be uncomfortable, but both of your analog sticks would be aligned. But that would also mean that moving my control stick like this would be up. As you can see, the control stick is aligned to have your controller positioned like this, while your C stick is positioned to have your controller like this, which means no matter which way you hold the controller, the north point of both of your analog sticks will never be aligned. Me personally, I found that holding the controller in like a happy little middle ground where neither of them are aligned makes the most sense to me, both in holding the controller for ergonomics and just so I don't have to make a super adjustment in my head. But I'm not gonna lie, it is a learning curve. Second thing, the bumpers and triggers. Not only are they in pretty uncomfortable spots, but the left and the right triggers are both digital. So right off the bat, if you play competitive Melee, you'll realize, hey, I can't light L cancel. I also can't light shield, or any technique that involves using the analog values of your triggers. You can still use Z, so I guess it's not completely off of the table, but it's gonna make a difference. And just real quick to talk about the buttons, although they do feel stiff and like a third-party controller, they're pretty good, and so are the control sticks. As far as third-party controllers go, I'm very impressed. I feel like I have confidence in moving them when my brain remembers which way that they're aligned. And again, besides the shoulder buttons and the control sticks being in weird layouts, at least the buttons are familiar, which makes for some weird mind games and getting used to. For example, just the way that the control stick is laid out, it makes it easier going right than left. My wave dashes and of course ledge dashes will probably not really work out. Like that was me trying to wave dash back like 3 times in a row. But I can't wait to hop into some matches, bring a win for the Resident Evil controller, and of course go over any quirks that come along the way. Alright, let's dive right in. Okay, so first match is going to be against another Falco on Yoshi's story. I can tell by his movement already that he might be using a controller that's a little better than mine. That being said, I'm still going to get that card.
I gotta say, one of my favorite things about using little obscure third-party controllers and, in general, control schemes is just the fact that it makes you feel like you're playing the game for the first time again, which I really do believe is a good way to try to get rid of some bad habits. Wow, this guy kind of just brought it back real quick. It started off real good, but got real bad real fast. That's not gonna help me. Even with the chainsaw controller, that would have stung if he landed that. Oh, no. What a way to end it. Man's going Roy? Alright. I mean, that was personal. He went below tier. That definitely means he's disrespecting my chainsaw controller. For good reason. But in general, the biggest thing that's taking some time to get used to, just how uncomfortable having two analog sticks that are misaligned are. All right, last stock scenario. I think we can do this. Come on, roll. Get hit by that. Get hit by this. Ooh, I don't think he's recovering from that. Never mind. Oh, that's unfortunate. Didn't feel like a win, but we'll take that. Also, my gosh, another thing that's just very apparent. The ergonomics of this controller are just not the best. I mean, granted, I cannot imagine that they intended this gimmick controller to be used for Smash Brothers, especially at the 8 p.m. that players are playing at today. But I wonder if Resident Evil would even be super accessible on this. But yeah, just speaking on the ergonomics of the controller, even after just a couple of games, your hands start to hurt. Now, I can't imagine that my hands are too used to this controller, but my gosh, if box style controllers are the remedy for hand pain, this might be the cause. Oh my, did he just teleport into my arms? Each wave dash is a conscious decision, and I can show you my slippy stats. I wave dash just naturally a lot, but using this just makes me play like a completely, I mean, it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, but it makes me play completely differently. Oh, I wanted that to be a forward smash. If I got a forward smash there, that would have been it. But I lose. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, doing a forward smash seems to be the hardest test. This is getting ugly. I think I'm gonna maybe do one more against this guy just as a control. I'm gonna see if he'll stay around for me to use my regular controller and just see how well I do in comparison with control. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, this feels like butter. In both a good way and a bad way, because it feels so smooth but so slippery. You know what the best way to describe the comparison is imagine having cleats on for a really long practice. Maybe your coach got mad at you and you had to do a lot of running. And after said long practice, you finally get a chance to take off your cleats and just wear slides or sneakers or something. That's what this feels like. Alright, well, there's a bit of a difference between the two controllers.
So what do we think about the Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller in the scope of competitive Melee? Well, let's evaluate. I'm going to break down different categories that I find important in a controller and assign a little tier list value for each one. Coming up first, considering the control and precision that you can have with this controller, I would give it a C. It works. By no means are the control sticks very bad. Like I said, you can move around with a good degree of confidence and precision. That is, when your brain remembers which way is up. Certainly, there are many third-party controllers that are much worse in this category, that have much stiffer sticks with a lot bigger dead zone. The buttons are also very usable, albeit stiff. But that being said, if you're a competitive player, you want every single advantage, or rather, you don't want any disadvantages when possible. And these are all little things that are going to bother you. Another negative factoring into how much control you have over your character with this is actually related to the next category, which is considering ease of use. This straight up gets an F. Now you gotta consider this was, again, never made for competitive Smash Brothers. But that's the thing, it was never made for competitive Smash Brothers. The position of the triggers, the Z button, the buttons on the front-facing panel, and of course the alignment of the control sticks. They just make for a very big learning curve when getting used to the controller, and in general, the layout just makes doing certain things more uncomfortable or harder to do. Which again, segues into our next category, comfort. Again, sorry to do this, but F. I mean, you're not going to want to play a long session with this. The way the buttons are laid out, the fact that you have to hold both of these chainsaw grips, it just really makes for an uncomfortable playing experience when playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it's just not something I can recommend. Your hands are going to get tired after even a couple games. Could your hands get used to it? Yeah, absolutely. But if even the stock GameCube controller is giving you hand pains, this is not going to fare much better. In the next category of ability, I would give it a D. Now, what do I mean by ability? I just use that as like an umbrella term to cover things like how bad of a snapback does it have, can it shield drop, can you dash back, etc. Now, I know that this is going over a lot of really important things really quickly. We're skipping over a couple that apply to really high level. Again, if you're a competitive player and all this really matters to you, I mean, this isn't a serious consideration. So we're going to be covering more of the basic things that apply to just general competitive players. But I mean, yeah, most of it works, especially with UCF. However, again, the triggers are digital. Just the fact that the triggers are digital just takes away a lot and makes it so much more complicated to use. On UCF, you can shield drop with this, and this model in particular right now doesn't suffer too much from snapback. Next up is cost, and that is in $4 signs on Yelp tier. This thing is expensive, and for the same amount of money, often much less, you can get an actual competitive controller that's modded out. You can have Firefox angles, you can have wave dash angles, won't have snapback issues, this and that. But you know what? It won't be shaped like a chainsaw, which goes into our last category, which is coolness, and that is where this finally gets an S rating. I mean, what an obscure concept for a controller. The fact that the splatter pattern is unique, the shape of it, I'm just gonna say it, I don't know too much about Resident Evil, but my god do I love GameCube controllers, and this is undoubtedly such a cool one. So, the Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller. Is it a good controller for competitive play? I don't think it comes to anybody's surprise, no. But it's undoubtedly a very fun experience, an incredibly unique controller, and I'm so glad that I finally got to unbox it, play with it, and take you guys along for the ride. If you guys have made it to the end of the video, I just want to thank you so much. It's been a long time since I've made a video. If you've been a part of this channel for a while, you'll know that it's been a long time since my last upload. So if you are here after all that time, I really just want to thank you. Also, if you're a new viewer and you made it here, I want to thank you for watching through the video, and I really hope everybody enjoyed. I know I'm a little rusty, I'm still getting my gaming video chops back, but we have a new setup. I have an opportunity to make videos, so especially having this first video out the way is a big weight off. If you guys liked what you saw, I would ask that you like and comment on the video, or subscribe to keep up with any new videos I put out. I try to update on Twitter. I've also now made a TikTok, where I'm going to try to post little more fun, smaller projects. It's been so long I forgot any outro I might have had, but I hope you guys have all been good, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.